What is good, my people? We are live with another live show. Um, yeah, I meant to come on earlier, but I got held up. But I'm coming on. First of all, make sure y'all subscribe to the backup channel because the next video is about to live premiere um in a few. So make sure y'all go over there. Um, um, I'm about to set it up now, but yeah, I got a little held up. So, but I do want to come on and finish the conversation that we were having yesterday because it's important that we talk about subjects like black hate, right? So definitely make sure y'all subscribe to the backup channel. All right, yeah, my bad. I had to make sure to to upload. So make sure y'all subscribe to the backup channel. The Forecast Radio 24. I'm gonna say something in the chat. It's gonna be a live premiere coming up hopefully in about 30 minutes. So, make sure y'all tune into that. But continuing the conversation about black hate because I had a couple of good callers that called in yesterday and we had a very good conversation about it. And there's also a lot of things going on in media where you see certain black figures in certain positions speaking a certain way about our people. Right now, first of all, you got to understand that melanin always. What's going on, my sister? Yeah, I'm just coming on for a few. Y'all can call in, by the way. Um, but I'm just coming on for a few to let y'all know the new video is coming up. So make sure y'all go to the Forecast Radio 24 is in the description. But I don't know if y'all was also paying attention to what was going on with that white woman on ESPN, Rachel Nichols, right? And how a black woman got a job and she went out there disparaging her. She got caught out there saying negative stuff about her. Now, see, this is a problem why we stay in the position that we are in, right? They have far too many, especially black men, but black people in general, black men and women, right? They have far too many black people lined up to be ready to accept a European apology, right? To speak on behalf of the black nation, because all they really need is a black face, and then that represents all of us, right? They see all of us as one big Negro, and they're going to be intelligent as far as they're concerned about who they put in certain positions. And that's why you see on television, you are only going to see a certain kind of black person, right? And if we didn't learn from President Obama himself how he was the president and could not say he was black, could not say black people deserve reparations until after the president after him got out of office, right? That shows a fear, a lack of, or us thinking that capitulating into their system somehow is going to equal safety, somehow will equal security, right? And we look up to all of these entertainers and all of this stuff, but You got to understand, they only put entertainers and certain people in positions for us to look up to. And the minute they get out of line, they can cut their paycheck, right? Most of the time, that's why it's entertainers and stuff in certain positions. Right now, are we an emotional people? Yes, we are. But emotion isn't a bad thing if you use it properly. Now, the thing about being controlled about your emotions, that's where the issues start to come in. But for us, right, and this is why self autonomy is your only way. Because no matter what you got, no matter how much you got, just look at Nick Cannon. Look at how he had to go on an apology tour for saying his personal beliefs, right? For saying, which by the way, they couldn't dispute whether it was not a fact or not. It's just the fact that he said it was the issue. Or you have LeBron James who said a little girl, a little black girl, because he has daughters, a little black girl should not be shot just like that. And he had to apologize for that because, right, they can wave this little paycheck in front of our faces, and people in the positions that they allowed to get in, because if you don't do it, they're just not going to let you in anyway. But see, it's that chasing a validation from somebody who is a psychopath anyway, who isn't emotionally stable anyway. You're chasing validation from somebody who is sick. And that's why you got people like when Bill Cosby got out, you got people like Mark Lamont Hill. He just went all the way out there and let you know where he stand. But remember this, anybody still pushing a certain political party on you, right? And I'm not really talking about your family members and all of that stuff, the people who caught up in the sauce themselves. I'm talking about people who have been put in a certain position or given a microphone or a certain whatever. Be aware of them, because anybody still pushing something on you knowing for a fact that is not going to benefit you and telling you don't even ask for anything, just wait for next time. Every time, wait for next time. That tells you there's something wrong with that. And they have to use certain people, and then they put them on channels and call it black this, black that, and it's supposed to be a representative of us. They try to fit into our community like they're just one of us, knowing that they preach somebody else's message. Like how hard Mark Lamont Hill is going, as if Emmett Till doesn't exist. Because if we're going to start talking about rape culture, we're going to talk about the real rape culture in America, right? People may not even want to say it, but white women have probably raped more black men than the other way around in American history. And we're not even going to speak about what white males have done, white dudes, white boys. They've raped so much that they've changed a DNA. But when it comes to us, and especially black people, because this is what black people love to do, say, oh, well, we're black people, we need to be held accountable. But we're speaking from a mind frame of white supremacy when we say stuff like that. Because you can't tell me black people in America aren't held accountable for everything. You jaywalk, you could get shot. You could be a 6-year-old playing out on the street and get shot by your Asian neighbor, and they'll let you go for $1,000. But see, they have to be in control of the media, but it's a different thing when it's not just the media, right? When we can control our own narrative, control our own story, we have our own platforms. And of course, they can try to hate on our platforms and stop it from going out. YouTube does stuff like unsubscribe people from my channel, erase comments that I make on my own channel, but they still can't stop it. Because see, like, when we start understanding the situation that we are in, like how they treat our children, right? Because we can get on this thing all day and say stop Asian hate and stop all of this hate, but you're not seeing that in return. You're seeing them in every group get in on this white supremacy system. But you see, until we are in a position where we can start protecting ourselves and protecting our culture and protecting what we build, and most importantly, protecting our children, because I'm pretty sure no matter what you believe in, we all understand that we do not want our children to be harmed. Because see, when it's the other way around, and on the video, that I'm uploading, that is uploading right now, make sure y'all subscribe to the. Hey, what's going on, Erica Howard? How you doing, sis? Make sure y'all subscribe to the Forecast Radio 24, because the next video is about the live premiere over there in a few minutes. So I'm not gonna be on here long. But do you want to understand how to deal with somebody harming your children? Some psychopaths come and just shooting into a crowd of children, and they let them go for $1,000, right? When our brother Rocky Rudolph Jr., right? This dude got pulled over for his tints, first of all. Then you could tell the cop was looking for any kind of reason to harass him, to deal with him. So after like 9-10 minutes, dude was legit, everything was good. He started talking about, I smell a faint hint of marijuana. Now see, this is how they can easily violate your rights, because they don't have to ask for consent to search. They can just say, oh, that's my consent right there, I smell weed. And he already knew what was up. And before he knew it, this dude who was smiling and laughing in his face had a gun to his head, because that's how quick it could escalate. See, these people lie to you and smile in your face like they're your friends, but they're not here to protect you. They're here to protect this system. You don't have to go out there saying not all cops is bad, because they're not saying not all black people is bad. They're saying that nigga shouldn't have did whatever he did, and they not apologizing for it. But you see, we always have to be quick to reprimand ourselves, and we say, well, you sure right, he shouldn't have did what he did. That brother was not trying to be another statistic, and they pulled off. Now you see, they're going to use all kind of language when they talk to exaggerate. Oh, he threw him from the car, he drugged him, when the cop just jumped on the car and fell off. Now, see, when it came to that 6-year-old little boy, there was no what if that bullet would have went to the left a little bit, would have went to the right. But when it comes to a black man doing something, it's, oh, now what if he would have fell all the way on the highway? Then what could have happened? Now, see, they do it on purpose, because the same time that that little 6-year-old black boy got shot, a little 6-year-old white boy got shot. Right? They arrested the dude, put $500,000 to find out who he was, held them no bail. Right? The woman who just didn't tell on them or turn them in, $400,000 bail. But this dude who shoots into a group of kids, they give him a $10,000 bail. And just because of outrage, they upraise it to $100,000. And we understand how quick they get these GoFundMe's up. But see, if they can easily violate your children, why would they ever stop? Why would they ever care? If you don't care enough to defend yourself, to defend your children, why would they ever care? But see, they're going to use that manipulation. They're going to put certain people in certain positions, right? And tells them what to say. But they try to make them be the mouthpiece for us because they try to control our story, even our leaders. They destroy the people who are really about getting us out of the system and try to erase them from history completely. And it's not an accident they do that. But this mentality of, well, maybe we should just obey them, right? We are smart enough and we need to have more faith in ourselves to be able to create our own systems, right? We say, well, we just got to get more educated. They teaching you what you got to teach. You got to learn how to speak a language that was beaten into you more properly. See, because if you try to teach Black economics on the wide scale, if you try to do anything to make a change on the wide scale, that's where it all stops. You see, because they're controlling you with pieces of paper with dead people on them that would have lynched you. Like, they definitely would have lynched me for just saying half of this stuff. But we don't understand what real resources is, and that's controlling land masses, controlling systems, controlling environments, having institutions, being able to not have to call your enemy, who most likely you'll end up getting shot. But it's this mentality because it's not just the people on TV because they would be irrelevant. It's a mentality that we have with each other that we try to hold ourselves up to a higher standard, not because we want to see each other do better, but because we're afraid to challenge the system. So we rather go after the symptoms of the problem instead of the root of the problem. We feel more empowered to go after each other. We'll say, oh, well, it's the Black woman's fault. No, it's the Black man's fault. When all of that is irrelevant, the whole point is to get out of this system instead of blaming each other, especially when that blame comes from a sense of fear, right? And when you start getting into that fear, that's where all that self-hate, that self-doubt, right? And they try to flip your own arguments against you. They try to bring up LG, whatever. They try to bring up gay people to say, well, look, you're biased, you're discriminating too. But they cannot do that stuff to us when we are educated because most of these slave owners were gay themselves, right? You cannot use this woman argument because there has never been a time in America where Black men have had more power than white women politically, socially, whatever in America. You can't play all of these dumb games. You can't say anti-Semitic because until they're giving us breaking off a part of their reparations, I don't care what they got to say anyway. So you try to say stop Asian hate, but then you see an Asian dude Chinese, Japanese, whatever. I don't care what he is. You see him shoot a little kid in the arm, and you don't see all of these people coming out upset, mad about it, protesting, saying we got to stop black hate. Because you are seen as a tool in the system. You are nothing but a tool in the system. And the truth is, nobody sees you as a human. But we put way too much stock into what anybody else thinks because it's irrelevant. Everybody else had to do and get what they got because of you. Never forget that you are the only one to pull yourselves up by your own bootstraps. Name a group, and I can tell you some kind of benefit or handout that they've gotten. But what you've gotten is nothing but symbols. You've gotten a black president that couldn't say he was black. You've gotten a Juneteenth holiday, but no kind of bills or nothing, right? You got politicians out there taking a knee, but not signing the bill. But still, we got black people on here that have to go after our celebrities or anybody who made money or anybody that they tell you to go after. Somebody who doesn't listen or fall into the system. Well, this system can be easily destroyed because we don't realize how much that system is maintained by you. By you, you take out black people and what they think is inferior, they would have no superiority complex to, by definition. That's why they do everything to keep you in your position. And like I said, I'm not as hard on, Coons because I see it as severe Stockholm syndrome for some more than others. And some people do it knowing better, but they do it for security. But on the first clip on the video, and by the way, I'm gonna get off here in a minute because it's about to premiere in about like 10 more minutes, 9:45. But the clip, he was talking to a Jewish person though. He said, "I see your weakness. All of you are too selfish. Not one of you are willing to sacrifice, to be hurt, to feel pain, to stand up to say enough is enough, to stand up for everybody else. Not even when we took your children away." And these people have done everything you can imagine, you can ever think of to your children. And we still walk on eggshells, on tippy toes, not to offend these people. Right? When this white woman got up there and did her standard apology, there's always going to be two or three black men sitting on the set or black women sitting on the set saying, "We forgive you," or acting like they're going to be tough on her, like, "Yeah, we have to have these uncomfortable conversations," knowing that they're tools the whole time. And all you get for it is pieces of paper with people that would have killed you for it. You ain't getting ownership of land, control of natural resources for that. So why would you sell out? Because, back in the day, a lot of these riots or rebellions did get, you know, crushed by black people snitching, right? Because they hope they get freedom for themselves. But see, that never made sense to me because even back then, they had the fugitive slave laws. So what it was kidnap and free black people anyway. So you could literally snitch your way to freedom and get kidnapped and sent right back to slavery. But most importantly, generationally, that's not going to help your children because they're going to be born right into the same system. But if you would have just stayed and fight and joined the revolution, your children may have been born in the system that you created, a system where they had the ability to be prosperous. But it's just, what do you choose to do? But far too often, and as a community, we do have to look at ourselves and be better and show more support to people who do stand up for us, because a lot of times we don't show them enough love, right? We let them go by the wayside, right? Or die poor. But it's no more that poor righteous teacher thinking. You have to start creating what you want. I am the wealthy righteous teacher. But we let somebody else, and that's where we will always lose. You let somebody else control every single resource, and no matter how much of it you have, because the more of it you have, the more that you need to maintain whatever lifestyle you have. So they're probably going to be more likely to do what they have to do for the money. But until you understand that, and even if it's just for your children, to say that somebody else or a cause is greater than you, and you're willing to risk sacrificing yourself, it's what are you willing to sacrifice for freedom? How bad do you want to be free? Because believe me, your enemy will go to war over money, over taxes. So if you're not ready to go to war over your children, you'll never be free from these psychopaths. Now, my brother Bakari had a good question yesterday. He said, whose fault is it? Is it ours or is it theirs? Well, I'll say this. I'll never give a psychopath a pass for being a psychopath. But I also don't expect the psychopath to stop being a psychopath. What I do expect is for us to stop trying to assimilate into that psychopathic behavior, because what we're doing is judging each other off of European culture, European standards, and certain people, and they know the talking points to use, they know the people that they can use, well, they can try to equate what they did so they can make it seem like it's not that bad. Everybody does it. Everybody does not cut off somebody's genitals and take it home to worship, right? There have been laws passed in America that has never been passed in the history of the world. That's what the psychopathic society has created. It wasn't all of the inventions that they stole from us and we just sat by the wayside and let them do it. It wasn't all the land that they stole from us and we just sat there and let them do it. They created that violence, that sickness, laws to sell, buy, and sell children, making it legal to have sex with children, telling you that you're not even human in the first place. And you can't tell me one time that they changed that law. That's why all of the time when you see a black person speaking on a forum, a certain forum, That's why every time you see that, they have a certain talking point, a certain mindset. What can I do to make my bosses more money today? Believe me, when they say perpetual servitude, they mean it. And they need you. They will die to keep you in the situation that you are in. What are you willing to sacrifice to get out of that situation? That's something you got to start asking yourself. Because never underestimate your enemy. They will corrupt your brother, somebody that looks like you, and send them right back in and tell them to act like your friend. And the whole time, they're betraying you. They're selling you out. They created whole programs to stop you. And because of this fear that we have in our heart, there are far too many black people that'll line up for the job because they feel like that is security. But when a psychopath is done with his toys, they discard them. Right? A toaster doesn't have security. And that's all you are. At the end of the day, though, we are all we got, man. We ain't got no choice but to get on code. But first, we have to start learning what that code is to have each other's back. Especially when some white woman come up with some tears. And speaking as a black man, white women tears have been the cause of so much destruction. Whole cities, thousands of people have died because of white women tears, and there are still far too many black men ready to wipe those tears away and accept those apologies and hug her with open arms. It don't matter if they kill your brother. These people are no different. But as long as we keep doing that, they know that we are still in a subservient position and they have nothing to worry about. One thing a psychopath will do is push your boundaries further and further and further until they knock all of your boundaries down. And then that's when the real torture starts. And we've been past that point for hundreds of years now. But anyway, man, I appreciate y'all for listening. My sister Melanin always, Erica Howard. Make sure y'all click on the Forecast Radio 24. I said something in the chat room. Make sure y'all click on that. The live video is about to premiere in about 5 minutes. So, I just wanted to come on and holler at y'all, man. I appreciate y'all for listening. I'm gonna be back on in a few more days. Um, I'm gonna keep getting back to work, but you know, we gotta stay focused and we gotta do what we have to do because your enemy never takes a day off. I won't lie, I fell off for a little bit and I came back to, 2 pages lit long full of names of people, and I was just gone for a few months. So, we have to start learning how to protect each other as much as we fight to disparage each other, hold each other accountable. Not saying we shouldn't hold each other accountable. What I'm saying is don't be afraid to hold your enemy accountable. Don't hold yourself accountable just because you're scared to hold somebody else accountable. Don't let somebody else off the hook when you're not letting your fellow brothers and sisters off the hook. We are in other groups have the same problems we have, but we are in a situation where we can't afford it. But at the end of the day, we are all we got. But I appreciate y'all for listening, man. Again, make sure y'all go over to the Forecast Radio 2 for a subscribe. I'm about to be over there now, and the live premiere should come up in about 5 minutes. I'm not sure how YouTube does it. They like to block my videos, so that's why I premiere them. But much love to all of y'all, and make sure y'all hit the like button. And as always, man, we have got to start standing for something, or we're gonna keep falling for anything.